What's up, y'all? It's your boy Blaze, and we're back again. This time, I'm about to be doing the Jordan 4 Alternate 89. Now, if you guys got this shoe in your collection, you guys already know what I'm talking about, right? That yellowing sole, the yellowing wings, and that yellowing back tab. Now, my client sent these in to get a full restoration, so I'm about to show you guys a step-by-step process of what I do in order to restore shoes just like this. Maybe you guys can do it at home, save you guys a couple bucks, and be able to step out cleaning another pair of kicks or something. But without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and hop into it, y'all. All right, so we're just gonna hop right into it. Now we know we need the sole on yellow, the wings, and the back tab. But other than that, I'm catching little cuts in that leather upper on the side and in front of the shoe. So I know now we're gonna have to do some repainting. Anyways, other than that, the shoes look good. I mean, the shoes got pretty good base or foundation to build off of. The midsoles aren't all cut up or need to be repainted, and the sock liner's not all torn either. So other than that, let's go ahead and hop into it. All right, so we're back. Now, the first step is going to be cleaning. Now, we like to use our own cleaner. That's going to be a Blizzard sneaker cleaner, where your cleaner ain't shit, you ain't shit is our slogan all 2026. Nah, let me quit playing. Anyways, man, this stuff is powerful, man. You only need a couple capfuls inside of a bowl with 2 cups of water. Boom, you got an 8-ounce cleaner that you would have bought on the internet or the mall or something for $20, $30. You know what I'm saying? Now we hit up the soles with the sole brush so we can loosen up any of that loose dirt from him stomping the yard in this Air Force One. Now we're about to hit it with a little bit of water and have to do it all over again because these soles is dirty as fuck. I'm cool. Anyways, go ahead and scrub them up and get them ready to hit them with that swag, bitch. Drill. But why you get to use a drill on the bottom of the shoe though? Cause I don't want no strong arm and no little arm out here talking about something. Take my strong hand. Now we're about to use a pick to surprise motherfucker to pick out all the rocks and the gunk out of all the grooves. And make sure you get all the dog poop, the grease, the gum, the nails, the glass, all that before you have to clean it again. Now we're just going to finish up scrubbing the bottom before we actually steam it. Now the steamer is not a cure-all. We're not going to hit this on the bottom, then all the yellow's going to go. No. We still got to do all that. This just helps. Make sure you hit the sides and rinse it off. Now we finally get to start the upper. Someone please remind me why I still do this. Now we're about to scrub up the sides using the soft bristle brush. That's going to be our medium bristle brush. Don't go in on that upper with that sole brush. You're going to mess everything up. You're going to get the message in me like, what are you telling me? I ain't tell you to do nothing. Use a medium bristle brush. And make sure you hit the sides, the tongues, behind the netting, everything. Or they're going to be calling you a little dirty shoe. And don't forget the inside. We got to get the ankle sweat and that foot stink. Now we're about to hit it with that one more time on the inside, behind the tongue, that mesh behind the netting on the tongue and on the sides. We're gonna get it all. Again, don't forget to get them tags, the top of the tongue, the sides, all that while you still can. Okay, so now we're done with that. Let's go ahead and rinse that off and get ready to hit it with the sneaker eraser, aka magic eraser, aka mine is better because it's thicker and it's not gonna fall apart like magic eraser. So come fuck with your boy. And we are finally done. We can finally say, finish this shoe up and say that we're done with at least this part of it. Go ahead and rinse your shoe out. Make sure you rinse it out really well. Don't leave any of your soap or whatever you're using inside the shoe. Make sure you get it all out. I can't stress this enough. This is why shoes turn yellow when y'all dry them, man. Go ahead and pat dry it really, really well. Remember, we got to the water all inside the shoe. We don't want to come back to a soggy Jordan and shit. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and make sure that we get the whole shoe dry inside and out. Okay, so now all we gotta do is put the shoe tree in there and go ahead and just put that in front of the fan. But check them out. Let's go ahead and check out the results that we got so far. Like I said before, we did a lot of steps and they're all necessary because obviously it was dirty. But check them out. Yeah, they look good, man. They look good. We did that. All right. Look at the inside. We cleaned that. That was for a purpose. It was super dirty. The labels are looking good. They're looking crispy. They're going to dry up real nice. This is something we can work with, y'all. Okay, so now we just got to clean the dirty laces. As you can see, they super dirty and dingy, but, you know, it ain't nothing for this cleaner. Like I said, we're still using the same solution that we were cleaning the shoe with. This is why I like to clean my brush in between, so my solution stays as clean as possible to the very end. Now, I'm only going to use like a simple little technique. This is not brain surgery, you know what I'm saying? Like, use your palms of your hands to switch the laces back and forth, dipping them inside the cleaner, and rinse and repeat. That's it. It's super simple. Now, After you guys get done, I feel like I gotta let you guys know, never use bleach on your laces or your shoes. It's gonna mess them up, man. It's gonna turn them yellow. But do y'all remember how dirty these things were before? Now check them out. Yeah, they're good to go. Now we're gonna let them dry off and get into the next step. Dang, Blizz, but there's more. Yes, man, shut up. All right, we still gotta do the soles, all right? We still gotta tape off the uppers. Now you're only gonna tape up the leather parts that touch the physical areas that you're going to unyellow. So I'm gonna tape up the toe box, I'm gonna tape up the sides, and I'm gonna try to tape up and protect behind the wings because we gotta unyellow them. Now use that plastic wrap to help protect behind the wings and the back tab. I can't stress this enough. We don't want to get sauce anywhere we don't want to, but we still got to unyellow those areas too. Now, if you're thinking about going into business, this is a good thing to point out to your customers that it might cost a little bit more to do certain shoes because you got to unyellow more areas and have to tape everything up like I just did. You might be able to get 2 sessions out of this wrap job, but definitely not 3. So be sure to tell the customer, I need money. Okay, so now we're done with the tape job. That thing took about 5-10 minutes too long. So let's go ahead and get ready to unyellow her finally. Nah, I mean, get your plastic wrap. Super simple. Lay it down, tear it off. I lay it down flat, so then that way I can put the shoe directly on top of it instead of doing it upside down. Now that we got the soy sauce on there, let's go ahead and use our brush to work that in there. Now, here's a tip. You don't want too much soy sauce, and you don't want too little soy sauce. You want the soy sauce to be able to stay on there without getting too dry too quickly, but you also want the UV rays to be able to get through it to actually unyellow the surface that you're actually putting it on. And don't be like me, use gloves. You don't want to get this stuff on your skin. And it's the same thing for the soles. Make sure you don't put too much or too little. So you might be wondering, what are we going to do next, Blizz? Well, for the next part, you're going to need UV rays, all right? So some people like to put the shoes outside, upside down, and let the sun cook them. But if you're like me and you live in that area where people like to steal shoes and bikes and barbecue grills and shit, then obviously it's not an option. In that case, you're going to need a UV light grow box. Super simple to make. Maybe I'll make a video of that one next. We'll see. Now that we got them wrapped up, let's go ahead and throw them on the light and then check out those first session results. They came out clean. They came out pretty good. We got a lot of that deep yellowing going. We still got some staggering little stains here and there. But like I told y'all before, we're going to go ahead and cook them one more time. Actually, I think 2 more times. Yeah. I don't know. I be forgetting this shit. Anyways, we cooked them. Now they done. Check them out. They clean, they white. We didn't get the back tabs or the wings totally white again. That comes with the territory. You know, sometimes it's just too far gone to get them all the way back. Sometimes you got to replace them. It is what it is. It's part of the life. And now we got to paint the shoes because he wanted to kick rocks. Motherfucker. So get your paint, get your brushes, get your acetone, get your cotton balls, because we got to prep the shoe. Your paint job ain't going to be shit if your prep job ain't shit. All right, remember that, kid. Pro tip, mix a little bit of red or a little bit of blue inside your white. It throws it off just a little bit so it's not too opaque, not too white on the shoe. That way you can kind of match that used white look. Now, I like to use the acetone on the whole shoe, even if I'm just painting just a little bit of area, just because at the end of my paint job, I like to go over the whole shoe with a nice finish that's going to give it a nice factory sheen. Like I said, prep is everything, especially when you're painting a shoe. If you don't prep your shoe properly, your paint job is going to look like shit. All right, it's just a fact. And you don't want the customer to bring anything up where you have to redo something, so make sure you do it good the first time. Now, I'm going to use sandpaper and a sanding block. I like to use this to sand down any edges where I'm going to be painting. That way, if I do paint, you're not going to be able to see where the old existing paint was and the edge of the new one. It's just a little tip. Like I said, prep is everything. Now, I get asked all the time, how do I classify a restoration versus a clean, like a restore? Now, I personally classify anything outside of me cleaning your shoe. So if I got to unyellow your shoe, it's a restore. If I got to repaint some areas, it's a restore. If I got to take out wrinkles or redo the midsole or reglue a little area or do a reglue, that's going to classify as a restore. It's going to cost a little bit more, but at the end of the day, your shoe needed it. You want the shoe to look as good as possible, so that's why we're doing it. After you get done sanding the shoe, make sure you acetone it again because you don't want to lock any dust particles underneath your paint job where it's going to bubble later and you get that phone call from your customer telling them, hey man, what'd you do? Like, you don't want that. So make sure you do it right the first time. Now, when it comes to painting, it's not that difficult. You don't want to go on there and just lather on super layers of the new white paint that you're going to paint the areas up with. You want to do light coats. You might even want to do some pausing in between coats so you can let it dry so you can make sure that you're getting a good bond with that base. You don't want your shoe to start flaking later when they start wearing it. Now that we finished with the painting, we can get into the detailing. Now we're about to get into the detailing. You're gonna need the shaver, the trimmer, the insoles, and the laces. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna start with that shaver. We're gonna shave down the inside of the sides, the sock liner, and behind the tongue. It's super simple, y'all. This is just little steps that customers actually do notice that you wanna make sure that you do so you can make sure you get that money on. All right, we almost done, y'all, man. We're just gonna whip out that trimmer. We're gonna use that to trim up any little loose ends, any flyaways, and behind the eyelids. It's a nice little way to detail the shoe. Okay, now we're done with the trimmers. We can put that to the side and then we can put the insole inside. Now this pair did not come with any insoles, but the customer wanted us to add some, so we'd have to make sure that we got those inside of there. Now it's just lacing them up. Now most people know how to lace shoes, but just in case you don't, the factory likes to go over with that first loop. The second hole they like to go under, then everything else after that is usually over. So me personally, I like to just do over the whole way up. It looks a lot better. It helps out with the reshape. Plus it just gives that nice little pop and uniform look to the whole little shoe. Okay, so we finally done with this shoe, man. I'm ready to be done. All we got to do is lace up the last couple of holes, and then we just got to stuff the shoe, and then that's it. Now, we done did everything to the shoe. We cleaned, we repainted, we unyellowed, and we detailed. We did everything we could in our power to bring this shoe back to life. Now, the last thing I like to do is tighten up the laces really, really tight. Kind of like when you get a brand new pair, the shoes are laced up really, really tight. It gives out that nice little DS look. Even though these ain't DS, is going to be the next best thing to it. So with that being said, let's check them out. I think they came out good, and I ain't just saying that. I mean, the unyellowing did a number for the soles, the wings, and the back tabs, and then that upper paint job looks factory. Doesn't look too white, doesn't look too shiny. I think the customer's gonna like it. This is what they look like, just in case y'all forgot. They are yellow, they were cut up, scraped up, looked dirty. I mean, the only thing good going for them was the midsole was intact. And the sock liner ain't have no tears. I'll give them that. Other than that, they looked like they needed help. So he brought them to us. Y'all already seen what we could do. Now let's check them out, what they look like outside. Yeah. Like I said, the tabs didn't come all the way back out. But other than that, man, they clean. You can't go wrong with this job. Now you guys got the skills to go do it to your own shoes or maybe even go get a couple customers and make some money. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, other than that, man, we out.